Hey, you guys, Wild Hypno Lady here, Tiani Perkins. And today I just want to chat with you about the number one thing that you can do right now, today, to eliminate or at least greatly minimize the amount of perfectionism that you are struggling with and that you probably have been struggling with for several years now. So let's get into it. This is something that I learned several years back, and it changed my life. Like, I'm not going to lie to you, it changed my life tremendously. It's super simple and it's super powerful. So let's get into this. The number one thing that you can do today to start eliminating perfectionism and your need to do all the things and not feeling that you're good enough and all of that stuff is actually going to be eliminating a specific word out of your vocabulary. And this one word, if you take it out of your vocabulary, is going to change so much the way that you're seeing yourself, the way that you're seeing what your role is in the world, in your family, at work, all of those things. Your role as a person, if you eliminate this one word, and that word is the word should. Okay. The word should. Yeah. It is, it's an illusion. How else can I say this? It's something that doesn't quite exist. You shouldn't do anything. There's these beliefs and thoughts that there's a certain way life should be going, that everything should be moving on this certain path and things just should be a certain way. And that's not true. It's not true at all. As a matter of fact, there's a million different ways that things can go, and none of them is the right way at all. And so when we have this idea, this I should be doing this, I should be doing that, this creates the level of perfectionism, that feeling, that debilitating perfectionism that you just cannot get rid of. Like, no matter how much you accomplish, I should be doing more. I should be doing A, B, and C, right? And it's like this never ending chase of another should, another accomplishment, another goal or something that that you feel like you need to do, but it's not necessarily because you feel called to do it. It's because you feel like you should be doing it. And that expectation, the belief that you should be doing it, takes away from the accomplishment when you do it. When you do this thing that you should have done, you don't feel like it was an accomplishment. You feel like, well, of course I should have already been doing that. And you don't appreciate yourself the way that you should be appreciating yourself, in all honesty. And so the number one thing that I would say today, if you are struggling with chronic perfectionism, if you have been just overwhelmed, not feeling like you're accomplishing enough, or you're far enough in your career, in your business, in your relationship as a parent, in your financial goals, if you feel like you're not far enough, I promise you, if you eliminate the word should out of your vocabulary, you will be so much better off immediately. Like, woof, right there. So here's how this actually goes. Firstly, let me give you the background as to how I even came about this. My husband and I used to get into huge fights over the word should, because I mean, it's a given. It's obvious. You're my husband. You should be doing A, B, and C for your wife. You're my partner. You should be doing A, B, and C. You're a man. You should be doing A, B, and C as a man, right? Like, in my head, there was just clear expectations that I thought everybody had. Am I the only one who believes this? Like, what? Of course you should do that, right? Um, and what I would tell him, like, okay, now he's an extremist, so he always takes it to the next level. When I say things like, you should help me with taking the trash outside, or something like that, something like simple, he would still make it into this whole thing about, like, what do you mean I should take the trash out with you? Like, who told you I should do that? Where did you get this idea that I should? Where's that written? Where's that etched in stone that I should do those things? Right. And of course, I was saying it more of like, kind of, I thought this was just the dynamics between us. But it would cause such tension between us anytime I would use that term because he didn't like the idea of me telling him what he should and shouldn't do, as opposed to asking him, like, hey, babe, can you help me with A, B, and C? Could you support me with this or whatever? And it made him feel less appreciated as my partner when I just expected him to do things that he never promised me or agreed to do. Like, no, we never had these specific talks about specific certain things, right? And so it would really bother him. And I couldn't get it. I couldn't figure out where he got that from. But he would tell me basically the word should comes from yourself. You are the only one who can determine what you should and shouldn't be doing. And on top of that, it needs to be based on your specific goals and your specific expectations. So that was a different shift that I hadn't thought of. And I had to take some time to really comprehend what he meant by that. But what he was saying is that the word should only exists in your specific pursuit of something. So you shouldn't eat healthy. That's not like normal people in my mind would have said, you should eat healthy. That's a normal sentence in my mind, right? Not to my husband. If you say something like that, he's gonna be like, says who? Not if I don't want to. If my goal is not to eat healthy, then I shouldn't eat healthy, right? And so that sounded bizarre to me because I don't see why you wouldn't want to. But what his point was that you don't just do things for the sake of having said you did it or because you think you're supposed to do it. You need to take time to really evaluate what your specific values, what your specific goals and standards are, and make sure that you're moving in alignment with that. Also, make sure you take into consideration your personality. So don't do things that your sister does or your brother does or your mom or your auntie or anybody else or your best friend told you just because it worked for them, because that may not be what you should be doing, right? It may not work for you. So it needs to be in alignment not only with where you're going and what goals you want to reach, but also who you are and how you move through this world. So maybe you shouldn't A, B, and C, right? And so let's go back to the example of the not eating healthy thing. You should eat healthy. Well, if your goal is to eat healthy, first of all, have a healthy body, to have maybe more clarity in your mind and have certain health conditions fixed or A, B, and C, then yes, maybe you should eat healthier. If you are a competitive eater for a living and that's how you feed your family, maybe eating healthy isn't necessarily what you should be doing right now. Maybe that's not what you should be doing if that's not your goal. If your goal is to become the best competitive eater and fastest and eating the most and all that stuff, then perhaps you shouldn't try to eat healthy, right? And to go around thinking you should be doing something that is not in alignment with where you're going or what you want to achieve would give you the most internal conflict, like the greatest internal conflict. So, for instance, let's use me for an example. I am not a great morning person. I'm getting better. Getting better. But I really love my night times. I like being up at night, y'all. And I don't I used to struggle and fight myself because it was like I should be getting up in the morning. I should get up and go on a jog at 7 o'clock in the morning and da 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 and all these whatever things that I should do in my head because the early bird gets the worm and all the other reasons why you should rise early. Whatever. I don't know. I haven't mastered that part, y'all. Um, but the thing that I have not that I didn't accept for myself at that time. The thing I couldn't accept was that I should not do that if I'm more of an optimal worker at nighttime. If I'm better in the evenings, I should not be waking up at the crack of dawn because then I get tired earlier and I never hit my optimal space. So then I'm asleep during the time that I normally would have been really good optimal space, right? So I would have been like really rocking things if I had allowed myself to stay up late, but I can't do that because I'm trying to force myself to wake up early. And I kept doing it because I should be up early, being productive, doing all these things. And it never worked for me. I hated it. I hated being up in the mornings. I was angry. Didn't want to talk to my kids. Like I was a bitch. I was so fucking pissed all the time as to the fact that I had to be awake. I figured the longer I did it, I would just get used to it. But I never was able to get with it, you guys. I couldn't do it. I could not do it. Not a morning person as much as some other people are. And I had to learn that that's okay for me. I still have goals that I want to reach. I still have intentions that I'm setting for myself, and you know, benchmark things and milestones and all that stuff. But I'm definitely not going to do things that I just feel like I'm supposed to do if they're not working for me. And so I actually switched over and decided I'm going to be more productive at nighttime. And if that means that I get a later start in my day and I don't get started on my other stuff until later on in the day, that's okay with me because I wasn't going to really be very productive during those hours anyways, when that's not how my body functions. So no, I should not be early to rise or with the early birds catching no worms. I'm not going to be the one. I'm not going to do it. I'm not doing a great job at it anyways when I try to force it, and it doesn't work for me. That took off so much pressure off of me. I felt like such a horrible mom. I felt lazy. I felt unproductive as a member of society. I felt like I was never going to reach my goals and achieve any greatness or financial stability that I knew that I could have reached if I just woke up early. But that's not what I needed to reach financial stability. I needed to work within myself. I needed to do what works for Tiani. And so I changed my ideas of what I should and shouldn't be doing based on that. And do you know how much better I got at things? Like my life just started flowing the moment I let myself just be me instead of what I thought I should be. So this message is just to show you and tell you that one simple shift is all that you need to really change the way that you are approaching everything in life and appreciating yourself. We all know that you cannot appreciate yourself and love yourself the way that you are meant to love and appreciate yourself when you're bashing yourself down about things you didn't do that you should have done. Like it's impossible for you to be praising yourself for everything you're doing simultaneously telling yourself you're not doing enough, you didn't do A, B, and C that you should have done. So this is going to be the very first thing that I want you to do if you've been struggling with perfectionism, if you've been struggling with just feeling overwhelmed that you're not there, you just can't, no matter how much you do, it's not enough. Promise you, switch out this word should and just put any other word there. Just say, if you're like, hey, I'm going to go on a walk because I've decided to, that's fine. Not though, just don't do it because you should do it. Like, I don't care what you switch this word out with. You can change it to any word, but don't let it be I should. Okay? Do it for any other reason or don't do it. If you realize, holy crap, I don't need to do that. I shouldn't be doing any of that. Just don't do it. You don't even need to come up with a different word to put there. You can just eliminate that action altogether. Like me, I'm not waking up at the ass crack of dawn anymore. I'm not going to do it. I'm not because I should or I should wake up. I don't know if I should or should not be because that's out of my brain. I eliminated that word out of my vocabulary in that regard. So that's gone, and I wake up at the times that make sense for me, and I go to sleep at the times that make sense for me. So same thing goes for you. I'm going to challenge you to drop below in the comments what areas you feel like you've been forcing things and that you've been doing it just because you should. But it's not necessarily because you felt aligned with it, just because you felt you should do it. Where are those areas and where can you shift and make some changes that are more aligned with who you are and the way that you were designed and the path that you're on? I'd love to hear it. Drop it below.